What are you doing right now?
The big V. Look, man.
All right, man. Let's just jump right into this shit.
I made my wife wake up and drive me there anyway.
You...
Is it major?
Pasar con eso. Pasar con español.
¿Qué pasó, papá? ¿Cómo estás? Any questions?
Now, when you bought that sweater, right? You just go, fuck it. I'm going full Mr. Rogers. You've tuned into the Man Chatter podcast. We good?
We are.
Say this took simply too long. Listen, first of all,
you know what it was? I think it was drinking early.
Cheers again, my brother.
Cheers.
This is first of all, we should definitely not drink before we try to figure this shit out, right?
Yeah, this is a little too technical. And drinking Jack 30 minutes before the show doesn't help.
It was a bad decision. I blame you completely because you started drinking before me, which is just, first of all, right? You're supposed to wait for your boy, and you didn't. Personally blame you.
I was drinking with my wife, so there.
Okay, that's fine. I'll allow it. You know what? She's your better half. She's your better half. I give you all permission to do that. Then I apologize to your wife, not to you at all. So, man, what's been going on? Anything in the news? Anything in the news lately?
Anything in the news?
Anything at all?
That's the only thing I get to watch now. The apocalypse is upon us, and everyone is buying up all the toilet paper because that's what happens, I guess. Like toilet paper and what is it? Paper towels. And apparently all the big bottles of Jack, because I was when I went to buy this one over here, and I swear I should have bought the big one when I had the chance, but you know. This Tennessee honey is delicious.
First of all, the only way to go, you don't know when you're going to get shit or to go out. But everybody I've asked, because it's, first of all, it's weird going outside already to begin with, right? Before the peak and other shit. But you add in, like, the fact that everybody's buying up all the toilet paper for whatever reason. I have no idea why, right? And anybody I've asked, because I've an anecdotal poll, like, hey man, what the fuck, like from old to young, like, hey, why is everybody buying up toilet paper?
Right.
They can't figure it out. So today I went to Walmart and there was this lady buying up like 7 cases of water. I was like, what, you don't lost it, bitch? Like, why are you buying 7 cases of water? And like the manager stopped her. I was like, yeah, there's supposed to be a sign up. Somebody probably took it down. She's like, oh, well, I didn't see the sign. And I feel like the manager should have gone, well, I'm the sign now, bitch. I'm telling you. You can't buy 7 cases of water. Put that shit back. It's weird, right?
Yeah, but it's a strange feeling. I think you said it earlier. It's a real ominous feeling walking through the store. And yesterday I caught myself doing the same shit myself I wasn't gonna do, which was I think it was the bread aisle or some shit, and there was an older lady there, easily into her 60s, probably 70s, and I started to go. And I almost, if I wouldn't have caught myself, I would have like run into the side of the aisle and like knocked shit over off the shelves because I was like, oh shit, I know she definitely has this shit and she's gonna give me the HIV. And I was like, John, what are you doing? Like,
you think she's gonna get that's the HIV, John?
The HIV. Everything is the HIV. That's what I'm like. Everything's the HIV. You can call it coronavirus, COVID-19. It's the HIV.
Hey, real, I have a stupid question, and I've been wanting to ask you this for a while. I just didn't want to bring it up to the podcast. Why is it called COVID-19? What happened to COVID 1, 2, 3, 4? Was there a count that we didn't know about?
It's coronavirus disease 2019 is what it stands for. I know it's not very it's not very funny or creative. I guess that's how they make that catchy because that's a long ass name.
That's a long ass name. First of all, they got to get a better marketing team behind it because right now it's killing.
I don't know. They got to talk to Trump's people.
Doing very well
because he's got a killer marketing squad.
Yeah, they got to talk to Trump, bro. Fucking crazy, man. Yeah, dude. Like, listen. We've like, Chad. Like I told you, we've talked about this shit ad nauseum. You know what I mean? Like talking about like all the shit going on, in the world, Miami being shut down, New York being shut down, Ohio being shut down, California being shut down.
Right.
But let's try to talk about like how to get this as two assholes on the internet, right? Because that's all we've established ourselves as. So far, we still have internet, and we're both in quarantine, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got a note from work that we're on liberal telework until April 19th. So initially it was going to be for a couple of weeks, like at least that was the word from my director and the boss, my boss, director before. And he's like, yeah, just work for the next 2 weeks, 3 if you need it. Just work from home, especially since schools got shut down and stuff. And then we got even more guys. Liberal telework, meaning if you can work from home every day, work from home every day until April 19th. So that's over a month actually, which is good. I'll be home with I can do my job, from home because of the technology we have. But that's crazy that's what it's come to.
So that doesn't count against your like PTO or days or anything. This is completely like separate from that.
It's
like how is that
as usual? It's business as usual because I work from home 2 days a week, sometimes 3 days a week. And so now they're just saying, well, let's extend that. So work from home every day of the week because we do have people in the agency and there's other agencies that do have people that work from home every day. It just depends. Like really my job, I could work because I have a customer facing job and I deal with a lot of auditors. They fly from DC or wherever they're at. I got to be present. But those people trips too. They're like, yeah, no, we're staying in DC. We're staying put. They're canceling travel as well.
Yeah, of course. So fuck that shit. I'm flying anywhere. I'm not.
Yeah, why would they?
Why the fuck? Like we talking about. Well, yeah. First of all, fuck cruises, right? Like we're not gonna get into like the nitty gritty of it, but like fuck cruises and fuck all these things that are about to get a bailout for no fuck. Fuck. I hate cruises to begin with personally because I have motion sickness. Because I hate any of that shit. So I'm cool if they go under. Here, like, catch a plane, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Fuck, bro. Like shit is getting. Dude, this honey jack is nice, delicious. Boy. Like I should.
So good, you can't even finish.
Probably eating more. I know. I'm like, hey, what was I saying about?
Hey, that's good though. I think people are coming around to socialism, right? Because we want to bail out the cruise lines and the airline companies and casinos. So I mean, we're all good for corporate socialism. So I think take care of the regular people. Yeah. So now we're just gonna take care of the regular people,
Yeah. Now I'm $1,000. I was like, bro, let me get $1,000 every day for the next what is it? Probably like 37 weeks in this year. I'm good with that. I'll vote for you, DT. I'll vote for you, boy.
Yeah, I mean, look,
you gave in to the left like a motherfucker, but
I mean, I joke around that I said president because I percent raise this year because of how who I work for and how our pay is determined. So when I knew that raise was coming, I was like, oh shit, I think I'm voting. I know who I'm voting for in 2020. My new favorite president.
If it wasn't for my health, for my private health insurance, I probably would have got about the same raise. But because that increased so high, the income wasn't the same. It's all good though. You know what I mean? Now I'm getting to stay home. I'm off this week anyway, so thankfully I don't have to deal with having to go to work. Yeah, but we'll see how that turns out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. I don't know. I don't know about that $1,000. It'll help a lot of people. I don't think. I mean, I wouldn't think that something like that would come to me. We don't need it. I'm working. It's not affecting me. I don't have to take PTO or, some people have to use up sick leave or whatever they have to do. So fortunately, as it stands now, it's just showing. I think to me, it's showing that hey, I can work from home every day, which is the argument that I've been making because we have a lot of people with the agency already on a permanent basis. So,
yeah, you should be able to work from home. Absolutely. Like if you have, like I have friends of mine, I have friends of mine that live in Tampa that the husband can work from home. Like if you're able to work from home and you have like a digital based company or like our friend Jonathan, right? Like if you have a job like that, you could definitely work from home and not not have to deal with the stress. You know what I mean? Like most people are thinking like introverts anyway, who'd rather prefer to stay just do the work at home as
Right.
opposed to having to deal with like that awkward cubicle life. Where it
Well, I
is.
mean, yeah, because
I don't know.
part of what I do is that in a cubicle, and now I have an open office that requires me to be there is when uh, come in and I have to be present and I have to brief them and walk them through certain stuff and they just want to put a face to a name and all that crap. But I mean, you can do that in this situation as well, right? You can have we have Skype for Business, we can do
Skype.
GoToMeeting, all that
Yeah.
stuff. So the technology is there. We've been using it before. People are just kind of not everyone is in using the technology, but something like this is showing that
The word I like
it can be done.
done one way
Oh shit,
always. Like
reticent.
why would you Yeah, boy. Yeah, boy. That's that honey jack
Yo, that's
vocabulary.
a
Yeah, boy.
1600 score on the SATs word. Holy shit. That's an 800 on the English part for
But that's a
sure.
actually I got kicked out of high school word. Like that's what that is. You know what I mean? Like I got reticent is one of mine. Propensity is another one of my favorite words.
Hmm.
Audacity. You know what I mean? Like I could bust out Scrabble right now.
Yeah.
I'll
I
kick
use
your
that piece
ass.
of software
But
too. I think you know Audacity because you use it to put the podcast together. You fuck.
that's true. You have an option with it. It's definitely when you have a web based job and you do most of your job from an office, and if you have internet, you have internet at home. I mean, I think it's just a normal, natural transition to have that.
Yeah.
But like, and we were talking about it before, as we were already drinking, right?
Hmm.
Like, there's gonna be a lot of like in person jobs, like theaters and shit like that. That I don't know how they're gonna recover from this type of shit. Like I was telling you earlier, like NBC, to their video on demand. You know, I'm gonna start watching. I love. Don't get me wrong. I don't really like to be around that many people. It's crazy, but like the experience of a theater is totally different than watching it at home, right? Because if I'm at home, I'm most of the time I'm gonna be like, you know what I mean, checking Instagram, like
Yeah.
you know what I mean, like doing dumb, like texting or playing some fucking dumbass football game that I'm playing now called the Retro Bowl. That's like Tecmo Bowl, but on my phone. It's sick. You should definitely get it. You should definitely get it.
Uh
It's
huh.
99 cents. Well worth it. Well worth it. But yeah, dude, like it's not gonna be the same experience like when you're in the theater. Like you completely unplug and you just plug into the movie.
Yeah.
So now with theaters and all these movies coming out that were canceled or put Fast and the Furious that we were I didn't give a fuck Fast and the Furious. I'm over it at this
Right.
point. But Mulan I was excited about. Like all these movies that are you know what I mean that I would want to see in theater probably might not be dropped anywhere. Like what happens there? Like it's crazy, man.
Yeah. I mean, I think Ohio already kind of put some of those guidelines in place. New York is thinking about. Actually, I'm pretty sure New York already shut some of that stuff down. I was watching a live cam of Times Square, and there were like 5, 6 people walking around in Times Square. Um,
Yep.
that's crazy to see something like that. But I don't know. I don't know everyone's situation. I know my situation. I prefer to go to the theater to watch a movie because what you talked about, you unplug completely, right? You don't want to be that where the phone
Yep.
goes off. You're not checking your text messages. You're for 2 hours. You're just into the
Yep.
movie. But I mean, I
Mm-hmm.
have a great room set up. I have a nice, comfortable like a sectional couch, and if we go watch movies, especially if it's something that we've been meaning to watch or something I missed in theaters, and then I'm watching it for the first time, like I was the asshole that did Tar, the one that something you definitely had to watch in theaters or IMAX or whatever. And I was like, nah,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna do that.
I can't
I'll
watch it.
grab it and watch it on my flat screen, right? But I mean, I had the experience in the
Yeah.
flat screen. You're there, you turn off the lights, and then it's you and whoever you're watching it with. It's on you if you decide
Yep.
to unplug or look at check your text messages, every 5 minutes. But I mean, I prefer. I like going
I
to
have
theaters because that's the only option you have, right? Up until this point, where I go to theaters or wait
yep.
3 months until it comes out. But this shows you that drop it on video on demand. And if you have the setup in your house, I think most people would prefer to watch it in the house. I mean, that's why Netflix is releasing other original from having shows to releasing movies instead of releasing them in theaters. It works.
Yeah.
It'll put theater chains out of business.
Yes. But that's the scary thing, right? Like, let's say it's like 6 months and nobody goes to a theater for 6 months, right? And then even after that, people were like, "Oh, is it really over?" Yada yada yada. Like they can go down very very quickly, right? Like you got to think about like other employees that aren't going to be during that time,
Yeah.
and all that shit. But I mean, everything. I think we grew up with Blockbuster and Hollywood Video and right down the road. You know what I mean? Like we grew up with the changes, right? We've seen evolution. Like maybe this is to put a positive spin on it in a way. Like this, maybe this is just the evolution of video movies to begin with because Netflix already started it,
Hmm.
right? Like HBO puts out original content, Apple TV puts out original content. I think the death of theaters has been coming for a while, but there's movies that you can't watch at home. Like I've never watched Avatar again in its entirety since I saw it in like 2000. I think it came on like 2009 or
Something
whatever it
like that.
was,
Yeah.
something like that, right? Like I've never seen that movie again in its entirety. Like I've seen pieces, but like watching it from beginning to end, and it's a phenomenal movie,
It's a
and
long
I
ass
remember
movie. I know.
almost every minute of it. A long fucking movie, but it's hard to watch it on my 60 or 75-inch TV. Humble brag, you know what I mean? As opposed to
I don't know how
watching it in
humble
a
that
movie
was.
theater. I remember
Uh,
I saw it in like, dude, I saw it in South Florida at sunset, right in their 3D. I know it's delicious. It's absolutely delicious
it is.
in 3D. It was like the midnight show. We got out of the movie theater like at 4 a.m.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? So it's like that experience isn't gonna happen anymore. Now I'm watching because of this, and it's not bad, but it's not the same experience. You know what I mean? I don't know.
I mean, I get it is because it's not because you can. It's easier to get distracted, right? Jeez, I had to
Yes.
do a second pour. It's easier
Yeah.
to get distracted, but you it's a
Yeah.
personal thing. You can choose to not to set your phone aside and just watch the movie. Like I said, I watched Avatar knowing full well that that was going to be, and we just put it
Yeah.
on, turned off the lights, and that's what we were doing. And it's better than a theater setting. You make your popcorn, you get the popcorn ready, you have your snacks, and if for whatever reason you got to pause the movie, you pause the movie. But I have two kids who, and I grew up in this generation too. The phone, like when I was in my 20s, that's when smartphones started kind of rolling around. So even though we didn't grow up with a phone in our hands, it's pretty much what we live with, right? So it's we're
Yep.
connected to
Yep.
these to the smartphones. Kids even
True.
more so. But when we watch a movie or when we have dinner, sit down to eat, phones off the table. Like it's about us enjoying our meal, interacting, and that's it's easier to get distracted, but that's on you to kind of set those rules.
True.
I don't know what you do. You play Candy Crush, whatever you want to do. Play that football game, Tecmo Super Bowl, whatever.
It's
But
called retro, bro.
but
Put some
it'll take
respect on
it'll
it.
take you
It's a
6 hours
great.
to watch that movie if you're like pausing the movie, or maybe you don't pause the movie and then you're missing out yourself because you're just kind of playing through slow scenes. But
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't
yeah.
know. I
No, but look, it's hard. I think there's also this part about watching movies with a group of people that you get to have like this shared experience.
yeah,
You know what I mean? With a whole bunch of strangers, like movies that have like a terrible ending at the end, and everybody's like, "What the fuck?"
right.
You know
Yeah,
what I
no,
mean?
that's
Like this
true.
this shared consciousness that isn't the same. Like when I watch movies with my wife, yeah, we have you know what I mean? Like you cry in certain moments, you laugh in certain moments. It's different when it's 150, 250
Hmm.
that all were like, yeah, man, this moment is powerful enough to make me laugh or make me cry or make me clap.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's just a different kind of shit, and it sucks. Like I'm honestly gonna miss theaters more than I ever missed like Blockbuster. Like I didn't, you know what I mean, or Hollywood Video because Blockbuster was still kind of around. You know what I mean? When Netflix started to blow up, but it's true. Where like I forgot what I was watching. That like they said like Blockbuster did it to them, the prices they paid.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like that shit was expensive. Like you think about it, you rented like four. Bro.
yeah, that was nuts.
Like
That
shit
was
was mad.
the reason why I don't miss, and most people probably don't miss Blockbuster or those places, is because the only thing that Netflix changed was the way that you got your movies, right? But either way, you're still watching
Yep.
at home. Netflix, it started with the DVDs, and they would be
Yep.
mailed to your house, and now it's streaming, but you're still watching it at home. Blockbuster, extra step of going there and grabbing the movies and then returning them. But the way that you consume the media was the same. That didn't change. Took that
Yep.
middle step, those two middle steps of going to rent that shit and then returning it, took that out of the equation. Not only did Blockbuster do it to themselves because of the prices, I was reading an article about a year ago where what was that dude? I think CEO of Netflix, his name is Reed Hastings, I believe. I might be
Yeah.
confusing him
I
with
think
someone.
so.
They had a meeting with Blockbuster in the early days when they were before they transitioned to streaming, and Blockbuster was thinking about buying them, and they asked for a certain amount of money, and they went in there. Reed Hastings talked about how they wanted to they flew private. They didn't have a lot of money left, and they spent a lot of money on chartering this private jet to fly to meet
Mhm.
the CEO of
Yep.
Blockbuster in their headquarters, and like fucking I don't know, like loafers and khaki Bermuda shorts or some shit in this conference room on a weekend, and the guy sort of listened to their pitch, but he kind of was patronizing them, wasn't really taking them seriously, turned them down, and then it was Netflix
Dismissing.
that ended up
Yep.
just putting him out of business. He was see the future, like he didn't have the vision to see what was about to happen, what like not just his business in general, but the way that the business was headed to, and these guys in Netflix did. And I think fortunately for them, Blockbuster didn't buy them out because now they are who they are.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah,
And
they
it is Reed Hastings. I googled it.
yeah.
He's actually been there the entire time since
Mm-hmm.
1998. 1998. But yeah, dude, there was an arrogance with the quote unquote establishment, right? Like,
Yeah.
oh, but this is how we've always done it, so this is how it's gonna be. Like, no, man, things are gonna. If you get complacent and you settle, things are gonna get past you. There's a bunch of companies that are no longer around with that type of same type of frame of mind, bro. So I
Yeah.
don't. It's weird, dude, but because when I guess when Blockbuster happened, when the end
Mm-hmm.
of Blockbuster happened, like you didn't see it coming because or you weren't as alert to it as it is. But like
Mm-hmm.
now because you're so honed in to like a bunch of different shit of, oh man, how's this gonna affect small businesses? Gonna affect my job? How's this all this other shit? Then you become more alert to that type of shit. Where like, man, like so what brought this on was like I was watching a video on YouTube with this guy
Mm-hmm.
named Chris Stuckman.
Okay.
And he brought it up and talking about like the video on demand and all this other shit. I was like, okay. Then he's like, yeah, but this is gonna be then. Like, holy shit! Like, people in movie theaters aren't working. Like, they've limited showings and they've limited the movies they're releasing, so
Mm-hmm.
the movies aren't making their money back and different things like that. I guess it's probably been coming for a while because it's doing Irishman, which it's a
I've
three
yet to
and a half
start.
hour movie. I can't give my an investment to that movie. You know what I mean? Like
Uh huh.
it's simply too long,
Uh
and
huh.
it's just going on. Shout out to all the actors. Good, sorry, can't do it. And potential.
I
I
saw
watched
that
different movies and
a
shows
couple
like
days
that.
ago. Yeah.
Yeah, that was like that's interesting. It wasn't the greatest because Mark Wahlberg went like having a Boston accent to no accent at all.
Mm-hmm.
So it was very weird
It
for
was
to watch that
interesting.
shit.
It was fun to watch.
But it was enjoyable to like to zone out on. It was a good movie like that. Like I'm ready for Spencer Confidential too. You know what I mean? Like I'd watch that already. Like just let's just make that a series and to keep going.
Yeah.
But you know which was what series wasn't good? I think I talked to you about probably a couple episodes ago. Fight was the one about like a family who like they make tacos or whatever, like this Mexican family.
They use a
And I was
taco
ready to
truck or
watch this because
something.
like they I think they're gonna start a taco truck, but it's so hard to watch because like the audio is fucking terrible, bro. Like I could barely hear the people talking, and like the actors aren't very good.
Right.
I'm just like just to watch the representation
Yeah.
of having some Latinos and having some Hispanics on TV or Netflix, whatever. But dude, I can't fucking do it, bro. Like it's just so bad, just so bad.
Damn.
I don't know.
I was.
I
What
don't
was
know, bro.
that? What was the documentary you talked about? But the little boy who was
Happy Little Farm.
murdered.
Oh, the trials of Gabriel Fernandez. Fuck
Don't.
that.
It'll.
Not
Don't.
watching that ever.
No. Why? Not because it was bad production. Because it'll fuck with your head. This.
Yes, it'll fuck with my head.
Okay.
I refuse to watch. Like my wife watched that
Uh-huh.
without me. I think she started it when I was like at work or I forgot when she started it, and I want to watch that anyways. And I come home and she's crying. I was like, why would you watch this shit? Like I don't want to watch any part of that, bro. Like any part of that, like no part of that do I want to watch at all. What's so motherfucking like it's like I got the premise of it from Brendan Schaub, and I was listening to that, and I was like, "Oh, this sounds like the worst thing ever." Like, no, like I'd watch that if it was made up. You know what I mean? Or like,
Yeah.
I'd even put if it was like a based on a true story. But I'm not doing it when like they're doing the interviews of the actual people, and it's a documentary. Get the entire fuck out of here, bro. I'm not watching that, man. No.
So is that bad?
Did you watch it?
No.
Did you watch it?
I haven't. I added
Don't
I added
refuse
it to my
to-
list.
So here, give you the entire thing right now because this is what I got from like the trailer. The worst parents ever torture and destroy their child. I think they pretty much kill them, right? So, and again, you have kids, so it's gonna be worse for you. And they do the worst things possible to this kid. Think of the worst thing you could ever possibly do to a human being. They do it to their child, and the entire system fails them, and like nobody stops them. Like they have multiple CPS stops, all this other shit,
Right.
and nobody stops anything. Fuck all of that, bro. Fuck of the entire thing, sir. All of it. All of it. All of it. No, I'm not watching that. I stopped watching the Aaron Hernandez thing because it was fucking ridiculous.
Right.
I'm not gonna then watch a child being, you know what I mean, the documentation of a child being beaten, murdered, fucking terrorized, and all that shit. No, not doing it.
Okay.
Not gonna fucking do it.
I mean,
So
I
there it
can't
is.
watch stuff.
I mean,
like
if you
that
want to watch
because-
it
yeah, I can't watch stuff like that
and
because,
depress
you know,
yourself longer, you have kids.
I do have, which is probably why I want to watch it. Just
No,
to
you do.
see like just these horrible parents out there. Maybe I'll watch it to make myself feel better. I'm not such a bad father after all. my kids are still alive.
No.
They get fed and they have
I don't think your wife would want to watch it.
Well, there are a lot of things that I don't watch because she can't watch stuff like that. Obviously, that thing is yeah, that would be out of the question for her to watch. But a lot of things I don't watch because she can't, and then I add them to the list, but then I just never get around to watching it because what am I going to watch something to spend hours and hours ignoring my wife? Why? All right, so if you're seeing this right now, what happened was that Ben is still on internet from 1855. You remember that 14.4K dial-up AOL net zero free internet? Yeah, he's on internet before those days. He's on the two cans and a string where you yell into the can and hope that someone hears you on the other end. All right, so part of it was his fuck up. He fell off, had to reconnect, but when he reconnected, I forgot to send him to the live version of our podcast, and so there's a large chunk of the conversation missing. So we're gonna pick up where we're gonna pick up here with the UFC, talking about UFC 249 being canceled. So bear with us. This is we'll figure it out for the next podcast. This is what happens when you go live. You gotta edit some video out. Some things don't go right. So this is us talking about UFC 249 possibly being canceled, and definitely the next three events being canceled by the UFC. Bro, the next three UFC events are canceled. Yeah, every time we're on. Yeah.
It's not the same. How are things different, bro? Let's wrap it up with your thoughts. Because I had to piss like a motherfucker.
Yo, I don't even know. I'm distraught right now. Like I can't even come up with. We've been looking forward to this fight for I don't know, I don't even know how many times. Someone gets injured, someone weight issues, something always comes up, and I've been looking forward to this fight for a few years now. I don't know what, man. I don't know what I'm gonna do if this fight gets canceled. I'm gonna quit the UFC. No, that's not true. I'm not gonna quit the UFC. Um, but White's getting a lot of criticism because he's canceled the next three UFC events, and I mean they're big events, but they're fight nights, right? So a lot of them are free. You can watch them on ESPN. Next fight night is in London, I think, and it's Tyron Woodley and Leon Edwards. And that was a fight that I wanted to watch, not so much for Leon Edwards, but to see where Tyron Woodley was because he hasn't fought in a while. And not that it's nothing major. It's not a. That's really the only fight I wanted to see, just to see where Woodley was, to see if he was going to put up some kind of fight, give the credit, because he's not an exciting fighter. That's not his style. The fight after the event after that is UFC 8. Again, only because Ngannou's on the card. He's the main event. I wanted to watch Ngannou. Other than that, Aspen Ladd is on that card. I think she got her face beat in last time that she fought. I'm not really interested in watching her. Greg Hardy, he's a novelty. I'm not really interested in watching Hardy. And the third event is the third event, which is supposed to be April 11th. Again, not interesting fights. Alistair Overeem, whose soul got snatched from him when he fought Ngannou a couple years ago. That's the main event, April 11th for UFC Apex. What else?
He's fighting Rosenstrike, right? Or like Rosenstrike?
Who's he fighting? Walt Harris? Whatever. And then Carla Esparza.
Don't want to see that at all.
And Michelle Watterson. What is she? The karate hottie or something? Is that what they call? Like she look. I give her credit for hanging in her last fight, but she got her ass kicked. It was just she's not championship level material. She won't be. She's got heart. She's tough as shit.
She's Paige Van Zandt. Yeah, she's Paige Van Zandt, Jessica Andrade. You know what I mean? Like Rachel Ostovich. She's like a good-looking girl who's also happens to be a fighter.
She's a better fighter than Paige Van Zandt, though. Yeah, she is that along that vein.
100%.
Yeah, but 100%. She is along those lines. That she's pretty and she can fight, and so like she's like a ring girl who can fight. And so they use her to sell the events. But look, I give her credit. She's tough. She hung in there her last fight, even though she was getting just blasted. So those are the three events that get canceled. Overeem is headlining the latest one, and Ngannou, who I wanted to watch fight just because I want to see him snatch somebody's soul, and then Tyron Woodley, who's the one that's coming up against Leon Edwards that got canceled to March 21st.
How crazy was it? How crazy was it that they were trying to still put on fights while the entire world is basically on lockdown?
I watched it. I watched that Kevin Lee fight. I watched.
I didn't watch it.
I watched the Kevin Lee fight. I had to use my VPN the day after. Technically, even though it was free on ESPN, but so like the actual main event, I had to use my VPN. But I caught the few fights leading up to it. And it's just crazy. There's the trainers. You hear everything. You hear exactly what the corner is telling them to do, which is the craziest shit in the world. It's so weird. There's no one in the crowd. You see like 10 reporters because you need the media there to cover it. The judges, and then the corners, or they're not really corners, but they're we'll call them the corner man, their team. And you can hear, you can tell exactly what it is they're telling them, and I've never heard that before. Like usually you hear when someone goes back to their corner, whether it's boxing or UFC, like that's when you can hear when they're being told. But during the fight, you can tell what the fighters were being told to do, which was so crazy. And then it's just kind of black and dark because they turned the lights down. I don't want to see a fight like that.
I don't want to see a fight like that either. Like that wasn't enjoy. Like the reason why I didn't watch it was like the crowd. A lot of the times, like same thing as like wrestling, right? Like it lets me know how to react and like how to go with that whole thing. So that's not something I wanted to be a part of. And I watched stuff. I was like, oh, this is terrible. Like I think I watched like maybe like 30 seconds of an earlier fight. I was like, this is just bad. Like I don't want to hear everything. Like I don't want to watch an NBA game and hear the sneakers screeching on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to watch a UFC fight and hear the corners or hear like the ring moving the same way a WWE ring moves. Like I try to watch like I think SmackDown was like with no fans, right? The last fucking WWE event. And it's WWE, UFC, basically the same concept.
Okay.
Every month on whatever. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it was like it was weird. So I didn't enjoy it. But the fact that I'm thankful in a way that like UFC 249 isn't canceled whole like straight up because we want to see that fight so badly, but it's not gonna be the same fight if there's no fan. You know what I mean? Like if there's no energy in the crowd, right? Like is this gonna be like a weird sparring session televised?
Yeah. I mean,
like,
and that's what it felt like. That's exactly what I said when I was watching those fights. I said, this just feels like a fucking sparring session. Like just a next level sparring session. I tried to get into it. I couldn't. Having said that, I don't know that
it's hard.
Yeah, but I don't know that I can watch that Khabib and Tony fight. 'Cause I don't know that it'll happen otherwise.
100%.
When will it happen? No, we'll be quarantined for the rest of our lives. We need to have this fight.
Yeah.
Tony likes to take metal poles
Like,
to train fights and harden his bones. Like I'm watching this fight. One person in the crowd.
I don't give a fuck if I'm the only person watching. Like, did I send you the video of like Tony like throwing around like workout mats? Where he's just like throwing around like I gotta send you that shit. It's fucking hilarious, bro. Like like the mats that people usually do like the high jumps on, where like they jump on top of. You know what I'm talking about? I'm sure you've seen that. Like he's throwing those mats around for whatever fucking reason.
Okay.
And then like Brett Okamoto from ESPN was like, this is me when I'm dealing with IKEA furniture. I thought it was fucking hilarious. But dude, like I need to watch that fight but it's weird because I don't know if Khabib, I don't know if Tony wins it without the crowd reaction to it.
Mm-hmm.
So like it becomes a different dynamic because I think Khabib is such a cyborg where he doesn't know what emotions and feelings are, where he doesn't need the crowd as much as Tony does. So I think it becomes a totally different fight. So I think it becomes unfair to Tony. That's just my little analysis on that as a fan, where it becomes a totally different thing. Well, we've been talking about it so long because it's the only fight we really have to look forward to. There's no other fight in any other weight class that really intrigues us in any way possible, right? Like we've talked about that all the time. We talked about that on several different shows. But it's fucking weird. It's not the same.
The last 3 or 4 fights, we'll talk about them for 2 minutes, and then we're like, what about the Khabib and Tony fight though? That's what it's 100%. Been. And then 100%. Coronavirus. I think it's a conspiracy to keep this fight from happening. Somebody doesn't want Khabib to fight Tony because Tony might clip the Eagle's wings. I don't know.
Tony might beat him. Yeah. Tony might clip that Eagle's wings from jumping off the cage, man. All right, we'll end it here. This is the last question we'll have for this show, right?
All right.
Did your wife fall asleep drinking Tennessee Jack, like Tennessee Honey Jack? I feel like your wife.
Let me do a quick check. Baby, you still awake? Oh, she said yes, but she's sounding nice. You said be quiet. I think she's enjoying the Tennessee honey. Yep. What? Oof, it's her second one.
Did she call you a bitch? What?
No, we have a very loving relationship. She doesn't call me that.
Bring her on the podcast. Bring her on the show, man. Bring her on the show. Hey,
I've been trying to get her to come on the show, but she won't. She's out there relaxing in the living room.
My wife does the same thing.
Look,
my wife.
Is she?
My wife does the exact same thing.
Yeah, she won't. Ben wants to say hi to you. He hasn't seen you since the wedding. He hasn't seen you since the wedding.
I'm very shy.
Get over here, Mel. Come on now.
Oh, I don't have makeup on either. We're good.
That's the same I tell my wife, bro. That's the same thing. Tell her we'll cut it out. Tell her we'll cut this part out at
Okay.
the end of it.
We'll
We'll end it
just
with that last question.
what's
Let's just end it. We'll end it there.
all right. I'm gonna cut it right now.